I do a lot of driving when I'm out heading to those FFA on the airs or to those fairs all summer long, and I've noticed a bit of a difference out in those cornfields. And it is Wednesday morning. It's time for our Allied Cooperative program. I've got Pat Cauley. He is the Agronomy Advisor for Allied Cooperative. I mentioned a little bit of a different look about that corn out there. I've heard something called smart corn. What's that all about? What's its purpose?
So smart corn is something new that's going to be coming to the market. You'll be seeing a lot more of it come here in 2025 as they're going to have more of it out for a commercial launch. One of the big things that they're bringing it to market for is just the accessibility as to late season nitrogen, fungicide applications. There's just a lot more options and versatility with it.
And we call it smart corn / short corn. Is it expected to yield as good as the traditional corn?
Yeah, so the interesting thing is it might actually yield better than our traditional corn. A lot of our traditional corn is 9 to 12 feet in height, where this is going to be 7 feet or less, which will allow us to access it at the correct times to, put late season nitrogen, fungicide on, really to maximize and drive yield by maximizing our inputs.
What about those ears and their placement on the stalks? Any concern with getting those harvested?
One thing that most people are kind of worried about is just the ear placement on it. So a lot of the breeding, they're throwing hybrids out when the ear set is lower than 24 inches, just from a harvestability standpoint. We just want to make sure we can get the heads through and get all the ears just so we're not leaving anything behind.
At this point in the season, and with that corn growing out there, are you seeing a lot of farmers interested in this short corn and maybe putting it in their crop rotation?
I don't think there's a whole lot of interest yet because not many people really know much about it yet. And until you really get out and actually walk in it, you don't really understand how it works. And I mean, once you're in it, it's something, that you kind of want to try and just see how it would perform on your own farm.
And you mentioned the shorter stature of the corn for more accessibility for the late season pesticides and fertilization. What are some of the other good attributes of this short corn? Does it have the same number of nodes, and are we going to be able to have better access to it?
Yep. So there's going to be the same amount of leaves. So what will happen is we're going to shrink the nodes, and they're going to be a lot closer, almost stacked right up on top of each other. So it's going to be a really, really dense canopy. But basically, by shrinking the nodes down and shortening the corn, one problem I know we have around this area is just getting planes and helicopters in to be able to fly fungicide on. And by being able to go in with a ground rig and just spray, doing it at the right time will, just be one really big benefit of having it. The other big benefit that they're exploring more in depth is a silage aspect. And I know you're probably wondering why would you bring up silage if it's going to be so much shorter. But having the same amount of plant mass and shortening the nodes reduces the lignin, increases standability. They're starting to see that some of the tonnages actually are pretty comparable with a better feed quality. And
what about its standability when it comes to our winding weather?
Yeah, so back in 2022 when that derecho moved through Iowa, they had a bunch of this out in test plots. And a lot of your traditional 9 to 12 foot corn, a lot of that green snapped, went down, was flat. And a lot of this short stature corn was standing just as tall as a tree.
So it seems to be able to handle some of our wind then?
Yep, it definitely can handle the wind.
And that's our Allied Cooperative program for this Wednesday morning with Pat Cauley. He is the Agronomy Advisor for the Co-op. And I'm Jill Welke.